Hey everyone, Josh here with a look at another Star Wars toy, and today we're going to unbox a Rogue One 2-pack. This is Rebel Commando Pao and an Imperial Death Trooper. So let's go cut these guys loose. Alright everyone, here we are with a Rogue One 2-pack. This is Rebel Commando Pao and an Imperial Death Trooper. And we're going to unbox these guys today, but real quick, let's take a look at the packaging, and I'll go ahead and spin that around for you guys so you can see what's on the back here. And so, of course, what you have is a real quick character description, and then you can see one of the things they're kind of showing you a picture of here is the bonus accessory that is in the package that is what they use to entice you to buy the figures. But real quick, I'll read the character description to you guys. Rebel Commando Pao, an amphibious Dradaba, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. The fierce Commando Pao charges into battle with a full-throated battle cry of Sakala. He joins the Rogue One team on its historic mission to secure the Death Star plans. And you do see this character, Pao, briefly in the Scarif battle at the end. He's in a couple quick cuts if you pay attention. At the final battle on Rogue One, you will actually see him. And then the Imperial Death Trooper. The elite soldier of the Imperial Intelligence, Death Troopers are encased in specialized stormtrooper armor with a dark, ominous gleam. Alright, and of course, the Death Troopers were real famous from that movie, and they followed Director Krennic around everywhere he went. But let's go ahead and cut into this thing and see what we got in here. And you can't really see it in the packaging, but you can see them advertising it again here, that the bonus accessory. So let's look at this thing here. And yeah, just I thought they kind of have it behind the packaging there. And there you can see you get both characters, and the Death Trooper already has the weapon in his hand, and Pao has his off to the side here. And you can see Pao comes with a backpack that looks very Rebel Troopers. So let's go ahead and get him out of here. Let's cut his blaster out of here. It's rubber banded in here. And we'll put that to the side real quick. And pop his backpack out. And then, of course, we have the Death Trooper, and then the bonus accessories. I'm going to go ahead and cut everything out of here, and then we will take a closer look at it as we go here and see if we can... Whoa. Looks like on this bonus accessory you're going to have some assembly required. So we'll put this to the side real quick, and first off we'll take a look at the Death Trooper here. And there you can see him on all black. It has one of these like little bonus attachments on his helmet here. I'm not totally sure what that does or it's supposed to do in the movie, but you can see it's like a little side thing on the helmet, a little aiming mechanism, maybe a light, but it does not move. There's no movement to it or anything like that. It's molded onto the helmet. And I'm trying to see if any other movement or interaction with some of his accessories or his outfit. And it does not appear to be. The accessories on the belt have a slight bit of flexibility to them. That's really about it that I see. And of course we're going to have the gun's going to come in and out of his hand here. So real quick, let's run through the Death Trooper's movements so we can see what he is. And these guys are these are standard 5-point articulation figures, but we'll check out their movement, see if they do anything special here. So just looking at the Death Trooper's head, you have side to side, up and down, and it does feel like it's on a ball joint. And you can see they got the little green highlights on the helmet. And then on the shoulders, you're going to have full rotation. I don't see any wrist rotation or anything like that. So no other arm articulation. Nothing at the waist, and then just on the legs you've got forward and just a little bit of backwards movement, so not much there. And then, so let's see how he interacts with his gun. So you can see he holds it in real good. It's not quite as much detail, and I know it's a little hard to film these guys because they're all black, but if you look at his hand sculpts here, you can see they actually have it on his right hand where he's got a little bit of a trigger finger out, and then on his other hand it's kind of a standard open fist sculpt on his hand. And I can appreciate them trying to put the trigger detail in there. And again, it's not as much as they made this figure in the 3 3/4 inch black series, and it's not as much detail as that figure, but you can see it does look good that he's got a trigger finger out and it lines up with the gun. And he does have a fairly good hold on it. It does have, it's a little loose, you know. And again, each one of these are molded a little bit different. You know, they're not going to be exactly the same. And I'm just showing you what I have with mine. And you can see, you know, he has a good grip on it. It doesn't come out when you move the figure. Oh, it does a little bit there. But you can see he holds on to it, but it's not super tight. So if you go start pulling on it a little bit, you can see it comes out. It's got a little looseness to it. But let's just see if he can, and I'm going to assume he can, that he can hold his blaster in both arms. And as you can see, because the trigger finger isn't out, it doesn't look quite as nice as it does in the other hand. But you do have the flexibility with this figure where you can hold his blaster in both arms or both hands. And you can see he's got a good grip on it. But again, you can see the gun wiggles a little bit, so it's not perfect. But I'm not complaining. It's still, I've had worse figures where they barely hold on to the accessory, but there you can see how he looks holding it, and apparently he's supposed to hold it in his right hand, because as you saw, that is the way it came in the packaging. So here we go. And the mega bonus accessory is for this figure, so we're going to put him to the side right now and take another look at him in a little bit. But let's look at the Rebel Commando Pao, and I'm already interested. He's going to be a little bit different. As you can see, he's got this massive open mouth, and he's like in a screaming position, but there is, looks like you get a little bit of jaw movement. Let me see here. Nope. A little bit. All right, but let's take a look at the figure real quick here. And you can see he's got a lot of accessories on his belt, and these are kind of molded to his upper body, and they hang down over his lower body, but they do have a little bit of flexibility to them. And it looks like, you know, maybe there's some explosives or something, a couple pouches, and maybe some accessories for his weapon, but none of this stuff is removable, or you can't interact with it in any way like that. But it is on there. And then, as you can see, he's a little bit of a shorter character. So if you put him next to the Death Trooper, he's a little bit shorter than your standard 3 3/4 inch figure. But let's run through his movements real quick and see what we have here. So again, he's going to be a little bit different because he has this big hood over his head. And you have the giant open mouth here. So what you have is his head doesn't really go side to side at all, but it does go forward. So when you go forward, the upper part of his head moves forward, and you can close his mouth a little bit. And then his jaw, his lower jaw does have a slight bit of movement in it. So you can open his mouth really wide, or you can kind of squeeze it a little bit and he closes it a little bit. So then if you push the top part of his head forward, then you can totally close his mouth. So I actually kind of like the way that looks a little bit better. But you can see now you've got his head rocked forward a little bit, but I think that looks fine. Okay, and then just looking at his shoulders, again, these are just 5-point articulation figures. You're going to have shoulder rotation, and let's see what his legs do here, because he's in a bit of a long coat. You have forward, maybe he fits in a U-wing, and backwards. So, very good. But there is your articulation breakdown. Then, Again, we have, as you can see, he comes with a backpack. And this looks like something right out of Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi. Just your Rebel Trooper pack. And so, again, you have a hole in his back and a little peg. And let's see how this thing works, or how well it interacts. Here. Okay. Very good. Not in there super tight. Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. Not coming out when you shake him. So it's staying in there. It looks pretty good with it. I like it. And then we have his blaster. And pretty standard long rifle with a scope. You can see mine has a little bit of warpage to it. Not that big a deal. You just kind of flex it back. It should snap into position. But there you go. Pretty cool little rifle. And just before we get into that, let's take a look at his hand sculpts, because they seem pretty much identical. Maybe this one has a little bit of a trigger finger out, but not a whole bunch. But pretty much the same hand sculpt, just your standard open fist. And let's see here. What do we got? And that's how he looks holding his rifle. Looks pretty good. And he's got a pretty good grip on it. I like how the butt goes into his chest really good, the butt of the rifle. So, again, he's kind of like the Death Trooper. He has a good grip on it, but it's not to where if you move the rifle, it moves his arm. You can see how the rifle wants to wiggle out a little bit. But that's fine. He still has a really good grip on it. It's not coming out. Just what you want to see. And just to be thorough, will he hold it in both hands? Yes, he will. So there you go. Very cool. Looks good in both hands. All right. I like it. Very good. And I thought in Rogue One, they made a lot of great new characters, and he's an example of this. That kind of wish they had just a little bit more screen time than they got, but that's kind of the way Star Wars movies are. You'll have cool characters just that are background characters. So, but all right, so let's take a look at. And one thing I want to check with Pao real quick. Will this guy stand on his own? Very cool. All right, will stand on his own, and just to double check, we're going to make sure the Death Trooper stands on his own. Very good. Okay, so what we're going to look at now is this mega accessory that came with the Death Trooper, or for the Death Trooper. And as you can see here, if you look at the back, the packaging, you can see how they want you to put it on. It's kind of like an over-the-shoulder rocket launcher. So let's see if we can figure this thing out here. So, of course, you have your rocket firing mechanisms, or your launchers, and let's see here. You can see it looks like we have some sort of interacting piece at the top there. And then they were in the package together, like this, and I kind of broke them apart when I took them out. But there's a little connecting piece. Let's see here. It comes out of, so you can totally disassemble the whole thing. And you see, it's just like a little bridge piece that keeps them together. And snaps it together. So you have double barrels. So very cool. And of course, this was not anything that appeared in the movie. A giant rocket launcher over the shoulder, double-barreled rocket launcher. And again, this is just something they give you in the packaging to entice people to buy extra accessories. And so this is the backpack mechanism that you actually attach to the Trooper. And what I believe these are your launch buttons here on the back. And you can see when you push the buttons, you get these little movement pieces moving here. And then you can see, just so you can adjust it on the trooper, you can see this is the part that actually attaches to his back, and you can see it kind of swivels back and forth. And then you have the handle mechanisms that swivel with the handlebars. Very cool. And so I'm going to run with the assumption that this thing is all going to snap together like so. And then you have your bridge piece, and then there you go, fully assembled. And then here's your projectile, and they are the greenish color, almost like a lime green. And let's go ahead and load these in here and see if we can get these things to fire. Very cool. And so you can see you actually have little parts of the projectile poking out the back, and sometimes that's how you fire them, but that's not the case with these. You actually do have a firing button, so let's check that out. So fire 1 and fire 2. Okay, so we'll go ahead and reload those in, and there you go. That's it, fully assembled with the projectiles. So let's get it on the trooper here, and we're gonna, of course, take his little standard accessory off. And I'm gonna guess you may have to take this thing apart to get him on there. Let's try it without doing that. So they have a little cutout in here where you can get the little. You can see he's got like a little bump out on his armor here on his back piece, and so they actually have a cutout for that in here. So he should snap right in. Okay, yeah, he kind of like almost clicks in. And you can see it's actually holding him into position. And then we're going to swing these handlebars, or the handles, forward, and hopefully he will get a good grip on them. Very cool. They seem to line up fairly well. All right. So, just kind of looks funny. All right, there he is. He's holding the whole thing. He's got it. He's got it fully assembled. And he is your man. And of course, to be thorough, we want to see, and see, there's a button on the back here. So it's kind of split in half. So you have you push on the right side, the right one fires, and the left one fires. But just to be thorough, and I'm sure it's not going to be a problem, let's see how this thing fires while he's holding it. So fire 1 and fire 2. Very good. Very sharp, very crisp, very good. And there it is. I just, practically, if this was a real thing, it would be so heavy. You wouldn't be able to walk around with it, or barely be able to hold it. But all right, there he is with the giant double-barreled over-the-shoulder rocket launcher. Okay, and we're gonna pop him loose of there. And this is actually out of these giant accessories that come with these in this Rogue One line. This is probably one of the cooler ones, and it does interact well with the figure, so that's cool. That's what you want to see. But it is just enormous. So, all right, guys. Again, we're gonna see if we can get these characters to stand up here. All right. Alright guys, there you have it. This is the Rogue One 2-pack of Rebel Commando Pao and Imperial Death Trooper. I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. If you are, please subscribe to the channel. We would love to have your support here. And thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it, and we will talk to you guys later.